everyone, I'm Jiwon. I'm here with Tommy, Natalie, and June. We are Team Oasis. The climate change problem has existed for a long time and caused bad effect on the earth. Our company, Oasis, is here to offer you an opportunity to protect our environment. The global carbon emissions have been rising for over 100 years, which is the major cause of climate change. Because of the climate change, some of the glaciers is melting. The mega drought is also happening on the earth, but we can do something to change these situations. These photos are taken in New Delhi before and after coronavirus shutdown. This nationwide shutdowns has led to chaos and suffering, but also had unintended climate benefits. The air and water is cleaner after the shutdown. This is because the restriction of industry operation and transportation reduce the carbon emissions. It also gives us some grounds of hope that if we can take actions to limit the carbon emissions, we are able to mitigate the climate change problem. Carbon offsetting is a way to reduce your carbon emissions. After you generate carbon emissions, you can compensate it by carbon offsetting, which reduce carbon dioxide in other parts of the world. Our company Oasis offers carbon offsets to help you balance out your carbon emissions. To reduce carbon dioxide, we use phytoplankton, which is the creatures with the fastest carbon dioxide fixation rate. We first receive payment from customers for a certain amount of carbon offsets. Then we use phytoplankton to absorb carbon dioxide. We first operate barges to distribute our phytoplankton and bioreactor to the ocean. Then we grow bioengineered phytoplankton in the bioreactor using ocean resources like water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide. But the ocean is lack of nutrients, so we also need to put additional nutrients in the bioreactor. The phytoplankton can absorb carbon dioxide in the environment by photosynthesis. Then we calculate the amount of carbon reduction by nutrient consumption. Eventually, we provide certificates to our customers for their carbon reduction as a proof of their commitment to environmental sustainability. Next, Tommy will talk about the value our product offers to our customers.
Thanks, Jiwon. In order to look at the value that Oasis is bringing to the carbon offset industry, let us consider these three key metrics. The yearly retirement to issuance ratio tells us how many carbon offset projects are shut down as a ratio of how many carbon offset projects are started in a year. Time to maturity lets us know how long it takes from when a carbon offset project is started to when it reaches its full potential in terms of removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And offset calculability lets us know how straightforward it is to calculate how much carbon dioxide a certain project is sequestering. It takes, for every one tree that is planted in a year, 1.17 trees are taken down or die. For every 3 renewable energy projects that are started, 1 has to be shut down. Because Oasis phytoplankton are genetically engineered to be nutrient efficient and reproduce very quickly, the average retirement to issuance ratio of an Oasis offset is less than 10%. It only takes 2 hours from when we put phytoplankton into the ocean for it to fully mature and begin to photosynthesize and remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. This is different from the 10 to 20 years it takes a tree from when it's planted to when it fully matures, and the 6 months to 1 year it takes to build a renewable energy project. In order to calculate how much carbon dioxide phytoplankton will remove from the atmosphere, all we have to do is calculate how much nutrients they consume. This is different from trees, in which we have to think about factors such as soil cover, rainfall, and soil type. And renewable energy projects don't actually remove any carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. All they do is reduce the future amounts of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Oasis has a very large total addressable market. And this is because all companies and individuals perform activities that release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. This graph shows the industries in the United States that are responsible for the largest share of carbon emissions. The transportation industry is by far the largest emitter of carbon dioxide in the United States, with road transportation accounting for about 4 billion tons of carbon dioxide emissions every year, and air and sea transportation accounting for roughly 900 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions every year. Transportation is very important to us as human beings, but it can be very detrimental to the environment. Oasis plans to target the airline industry specifically because starting from 2021, the carbon offset reduction scheme for international aviation will go into effect. CORSIA will require all airlines who want to travel internationally to pay to offset their carbon emissions that are higher than levels recorded in 2020. Airlines are going to have their work cut out for them in 2021, and Oasis plans to be there for them. Also, the airline industry grows at a rate of about 4% every year, which presents an opportunity to the carbon offset industry of about $1.5 billion in service fees. From CORSIA, we've seen that it's very easy to execute legislation on the airline industry. And also because they tend to consolidate, it's easier we know where they are at any given time. Oasis will charge airlines $20 per ton of carbon offset. A 5,000-mile flight, which could be from Cairo in Egypt to Atlanta in the United States, emits 1 ton of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere per passenger. Assuming a full flight, Oasis will charge airlines roughly 2% of their revenue per flight. And now Natalie is going to walk you through our operations.
Thanks, Folatomi. Oasis is a market leader in technology and quality, and our operations reflect this. As such, we will do R&D and sales in-house. Our in-house R&D team will be able to produce our first of its kind bioengineered phytoplankton for carbon capture purposes. This will also enable us to have high efficacy and quality in our final product. Further, we will have greater cost flexibility because we will be in control of our own supply chain. Having an in-house sales team will also enable us to have highly educated sales representatives that are able to explain our product value to our customers. Additionally, we want to make sure that there is a tight feedback loop between customers and our development team so that we can continuously improve our offering. For processes like barge operations, where there are existing experts, we will outsource our needs to them. We will use McDonough Marine Services so that we can have access to a large and diverse fleet of barges that we can outfit with our bioreactors for phytoplankton distribution. As experts in the field, they will be able to easily scale as our needs for more barges increases. Our launch will have 3 main phases. R&D, a soft launch, followed by our release to the public and expansion. Our R&D phase will start when we lease R&D space, begin engineering our phytoplankton, and start the certification process. We will start our soft launch once we have a viable phytoplankton option. Once this happens, we will lease barges, form a sales team, and source our first pilot client. Upon successful completion of our pilot, we will release to the public and expand our operations, forming long-term client contracts. Oasis's marketing strategy will evolve at the same pace as our operations. In our R&D phase, we will rely on founder-led marketing and build our brand through media campaigns. Forming key partnerships with CORSIA and aviation companies will enable us to source our first pilot client, which will take us into our soft launch phase. Upon successful completion of our soft launch, we will expand our sales team, start a media marketing campaign, and formalize the customer feedback loop so that we can improve our product. We will then ramp up sales and marketing and form strategic relationships with our next target segment. This will allow us to expand into new segments like energy companies, and road and sea transportation companies. Partnerships are important to our successful launch, and we will rely on partnerships with media campaigns, certification organizations, and regulatory organizations. Our partnerships with media campaigns will help us increase awareness of climate issues, expanding our customer base, and increasing our brand recognition. Our partnerships with certification organizations will provide our customers with unbiased proof of the efficacy of our offsets. This in turn will strengthen our brand as a leader in quality. Lastly, our partnerships with regulatory bodies will help us understand how regulations are changing so that our sales and marketing team can be poised to enter these new industries. And now I will pass it to John, who will go over our financials for this launch period and beyond.
Thanks, Natalie. In the first year, we were still working on R&D development, so the net earning will be negative at the first 2 years. But after we began soft launch and start selling carbon offset service to our initial customers, our net earning will become positive in 2023. With our sales expansion, we will sell 1 million tons carbon offset in 2025, which will lead us to $20 million revenue and $10 million net earning at the end of the year. To achieve this goal, Oasis is seeking $1.2 million to fund our product development. We will invest $100,000 as the initial capital and will ask $500,000 in 2021 as seed round for R&D, and $700,000 in 2023 for manufacturing bioreactors, both rental and operations. Carbon offset industry has huge potential for investing. For example, last year, company Carbon Engineering has gained $68 million funding from Bill Gates, and their company value goes up to a new high level. Compared to other companies, Oasis has significant investment potential. According to the CSI market analysis, the PE ratio of environmental service industry is about 30. With our net earning in 2025, our company value will increase to $301 million. So far, you've heard from our core team members. The right side is our external board of advisors. Urchin and Patrick have rich financial experience in carbon offset industry and dedicated to climate issues. Irina has solid environmental science background, and Andrea has been working on sustainability projects for years. We have complementary background and skills. Together, we dedicate to creating a new standard of carbon offset. We want to accomplish our mission to offset carbon dioxide in the environmental as effectively as possible, using bioengineering to leverage naturally occurring process. We will be the change makers that will leave a cleaner planet for future generations. Oasis leaves carbon dioxide for you. Thank you so much. We are now open to any questions.